Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really delighted to see you here. And many people have sent in a message as we go, they're going to join in. But I want to respect your time because you're here in time. Let's begin today's talks and let's talk about what is Adobe and what all are we looking forward to. With that, I am going to formally record this whole session so that people like Taruna who have just said they're unable to join will be able to join. If anyone can jump into that window and help Taruna join, it'll be great because there are many people who are really wanting to join today's webinar. With that, let me formally welcome you on board. Thank you once again. We at Adobe are trying to make many things possible for educators, for our students, and we are trying to bring learning closer to you and make it more accessible to you. But before I go any further, could I please get a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly? Thank you, Manju. Great. We are here to talk about Adobe Digital Disha. It's one of ways in which Adobe is enabling educators and students across the globe to take digital literacy and foster creativity skills in their classrooms. With this program, we are not only taking care of creativity, but also communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. And as you know, that they are the essential 21st century skills, and therefore we've tried weaving in a program which is absolutely relevant to your classrooms. I'm going to begin by introducing myself for those who are new, though I think you all know me yet. Mention here that I am Meenakshi Oberoi and I'm the founding CEO of Deep Pedagogics. We are partners with Microsoft and Adobe, both for bringing programs in education closer to you and make it more accessible to you. For anything to do with technology, whether it be software or hardware, you may please connect with us and we are happy to guide you in that. We mentor multiple schools across the country into their technology deployment, and we work with multiple chain of schools for that matter. And with Adobe, our main agenda is to create a culture of creativity in the classroom. Excuse me. I, for one, certainly believe in the power of creativity in a classroom. And if you can create that culture in your classroom, if you can bring the zest to be creative and give the freedom to your students and teachers to think creatively, I think we've just about achieved rest of the skills. They're all interlinked, and we all know that. My sessions, if you know already, normally begin with a thought, and who better than Sir Ken Robinson to bring in creativity? Well, my thoughts absolutely resonate with this statement, where he says creativity is as important now in education as literacy, and we should treat it with the same status. Absolutely right. I think it just deserves that special place in our classrooms, and I think we should be able to deliver that in our classrooms. To help you enable and deliver those in your classrooms, we are here to help get creativity into your classrooms, providing you tools which make sense, which are more usable and user friendly, which don't need intensive training, and also which can be seamlessly actually woven through your curriculum without really changing or without really modifying what you're already doing in your classrooms. So, with that at heart and with that purpose in mind, we bring to you Adobe Digital Disha. Just a few stats before we go ahead. Well, the dynamics of digital skilling. 9%, would be deployed in jobs that do not exist, and about 37% would be deployed in jobs radically changed skill sets. That's what our future looks like. Well, this is not to scare anybody, but I think just to bring in a perspective to say we really need to sit up to see how we can actually bring in globalization. How can we accommodate our students into these demographic changes, and how adoption of Industry 4.0 can take place. Adobe Digital Disha is an Indian specific or an Indian subcontinent specific program which has been conceptualized just to digitalize India and skill Indian students and teachers. It aims to empower educators to provide the digital experience to students and become future ready. Digital Disha provides Adobe Spark licenses free of cost to both teachers and students with the aim that you are able to achieve the four E's. The strategies that can be used in your class could be engage, execute, evaluate, and experience using Adobe Spark. When we say that you can use this in your schools or your K-12 segment, our main focus is that the students should be able to, when they enter those higher education scenarios, they should have a competitive edge. They must have a kind of a creative bent of mind and must be able to accommodate design thinking, enhance collaboration skills, and of course, craft exceptional journey with project-based learning. These are some of the essential things that they will need in the world of tomorrow, and therefore we are here to equip them today with the same. Adobe Spark, if I talk about, it's a web-based site or an app which is built to encourage creativity and impactful creative communication. When we work in Spark, I don't think we need a formal training for that yet to acclimatize or to actually make teachers comfortable. We're hosting another webinar in about approximately 2.5 hours, which is at 12:30. I'm happy to share the link towards the end of the slide. We do have the link to that webinar. Please feel free for you to join or for your educators, in fact, to join. And if you want to project it in your classrooms, that's a kind of a training that we are going to impart for Spark. Spark actually was built with younger users in mind, and students from preschool to through college are finding Spark to be really easy, and it's a very fun way of publishing what you can create, and of course share with the world because contribution, like I've always said, is a big part of what we do. So there has to be some which way where students are able to look at an image and say that, I wish I could write my own words in it, or I wish I could play with the background and I think I would make it better. But here's your tool if you would think like that. It empowers anyone to turn ideas into social graphics, web stories, and animated videos in just about minutes. And within those minutes itself, I'm going to just demonstrate the entire Spark for you at 12:30. With Spark, you could be creating three types of products. One could be Adobe Spark video, other could be a video, sorry, Adobe Spark page, and the third one is an Adobe Spark post. Well, this actually gives you a wide range because you can actually create a product which you feel you can tell your story in the best manner. You want to create a video or you want to pick up an existing video and recreate with a voiceover or add maybe your own words or text to it or even add some images to it. Let me give you a very simple example. You've just had your event at some event in your school, let's say a kind of a sports day, and you have bits and pieces of those videos, smaller videos with you. You could be using Adobe Spark to put in those videos and add your own slides where you can write your own text, put your own words, do a voiceover, and even get those images in one go. So all those videos that we take so long in creating, you could be actually creating within minutes. So I'm going to pause here because Preeti says she's unable to see anything. Are you all able to see the slideshow that is running? If you can, then please, if you can give me a thumbs up in the chat window so that I know that the problem is specific to Preeti only. Fantastic. Thank you, Manju. You're a great spot there. Thank you. Preeti, I think you need to check your connection, or if you're on phone, I guess you need to enable your visuals here. I'm only presenting using a slide today. Okay, moving forward. So, well, like I was saying, the video actually combines your motion graphics, your audio recordings, your music, text, and photographs. If you put them together, you could actually produce a short animated narrated explainer video. and it's absolutely exciting. I prepared the few and I'm just going to showcase those to you. And of course, you can, create a Spark page. It's the best way to if you're looking to create a kind of a web page, this is one of your great options, because here you can not only play with layouts, colors, fonts, and text, but what you can also do is you can also embed one Spark into other. You could be presenting your whole plan, lesson plan, or your project plan using just about Spark. So when I'm talking about Spark training webinar at 12:30, I will be actually demonstrating all of this, and I will be showcasing certain examples what we have already seen in the classrooms. And the best thing is, this is again, because this is a web-based product or an app, it's actually free of any parity in what it looks like on a tablet or a phone or a computer. So it is adaptable to all those platforms. So that's what really works for us. In fact, Adobe Spark uh, uh, can be even downloaded on your phone, on your Android phone and your iPhone. You can download that app, and I'll really appreciate if you can. And you just have to create an Adobe ID, and you could be using it. So it's as simple as that. So also, what I would want to mention is, one is that all of you here, what I'll appreciate is if I can get your email IDs here in the mailbox. Though most of I have most of your email IDs, yet I'll appreciate if you can send them in this chat window. I could be giving you access right away. And what I could also do is I could be giving you access for your whole school. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But let me first talk about Adobe Spark Post. Well, Adobe Spark Post is something that you can create a graphic, or the post that you create for all those social media. If you want to create something in seconds and you're not too sure what the layout should be or what should it look like, well, I would highly recommend that you absolutely immediately just get into Adobe Spark Post and look at those stunning graphics that are already available, and you can personalize those. You can change the background, you can change the words, you can change the layout, you can change the font, whatever you want, and the results are amazing. So I'm just going on talking about it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to take you to the Spark page so that I can give you a glimpse of what Spark page looks like, and also some products. So Manju, thank you so much for sharing your email ID. I'm going to take notice of that, and immediately after this session, I'm going to give you access to Adobe Spark. Okay, so I'm now using my desktop. Can you see my desktop? A thumbs up, please, if you can, or if it's loading. Yes, I think now you can see my um, screen. And what I have in front of me is Adobe Spark. So to reach Adobe Spark, what you have to say is spark.adobe.com. That's your URL. And you land on this page. And Uh, this is somewhere when you have landed, you will have a sense of an achievement. So all the graphics that you're looking at right now, the infographics that you're looking at, you can personalize any of those. And I'm just going to pick up a random one to do that. And of course, Spark Post is also available, like I said, on your phone. You could download it as an app or a web page. You could even be creating video stories. So you could start here now, but I'm not going to do that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one of these. So, let me pick up a travel journal, because that's going to be interesting to transform. So, as soon as I pick up a travel journal, what will happen is the image that I was looking at will come. If you see on top, it says create a new page. I still have the option of creating a new page, but I'm just looking at what's already available. So, this is what is already available. I want to show you what it looks like. So, if you're traveling somewhere, you could be posting your videos, you could be taking your pictures, and look at the smooth slide, and look at the way, look and feel of this product. Does it even look like a person, like You and me could be creating something as professional as this. But yeah, this is certainly not made by me. This is something that has been made by somebody, somebody I wouldn't know. So this is like a professional look. So I wanted to give you a very professional look to begin with, but I'm going to take you back to this main page. And if you see, I'm signed in here. So if I'm signed in, my projects which I have created are here. And I want to show you just a few, and I want to transform a few. So if you look at my projects, in the interest of time, I won't be able to show you all, but as you come back for the 12:30 webinar, I will be able to show you everything. So let's say, I'm trying to create a web post. So if you see, I have a web page here, Spark page, Spark post, and I have a Spark video here. So I'm going to do is I'm going to edit, or better still, I'm actually going to just pick up something from here to make in front of you. Let me try and load more to see if I have. Oh, wonderful. Look at the kind of work that has already been done. Let me try and put this post here and try and see how I can transform it or change it right in front of you so that you're able to see how within seconds you can do this. So let's say this is what I'm looking at, celebrating an engagement. Let's say I'm celebrating something else, or I could be choosing something from here too. Um, Let me try and pick up something from here. Okay, I like this. So let me take this. I could actually be replacing anything. If you see, when I click on this image, number one, it gives me the option of decreasing the size or increasing the size or checking out how I want this placed elsewhere, or replace the image. So when I say replace image, it just says engagement and it gives me images because this platform is very intuitive. They know I'm talking about engagement. What changed here is the layouts. What did not change here is maybe I want this as an image. So all I have to do is I click here and voila, my image is changed. Let's say I want to replace this image and I don't want a pre-made image. I really want to add my own image from, okay, let's say I want to add an image from my desktop. You could be doing that too. If you don't want to find a photo, you could be uploading a photo. Now, before I go on to uploading a photo, I want to show you other options that are available to you. These are other ways in which you can find pictures, even in your Lightroom or your Dropbox or your Google Photos or anywhere in your OneDrive also. If you have any pictures, you could be using any of those pictures. So I'm just going to expose myself here a little bit and I'm going to pick up an image. I need a much less family image. Okay, so let me say I'll pick this up. So I could actually be placing my own image here from my library, and I could be changing the whole scenario or whole layout of what I'm trying to say here. Not too happy with the engagement. You all know I'm engaged. I couldn't be writing this, therefore I would edit it, and I would say uh, join us for webinar. Let me see. I'm just putting anything just like that. I could be playing with the size. Okay. So if you can understand what I'm saying, I'm really not doing much here, but I'm doing so much that it's not wasting my time. And Spark for creativity, and I can actually personalize it within minutes. So I could now be replacing this image also or playing around with this text, making it bigger, right? And I can still play around with these colors and I can change these colors as I'd like it to be. So what I'm trying to showcase here is that within minutes, I have something that could be created, not engagement, a webinar. Let's say I say webinar. Okay, it gives me multiple images. Fantastic. So just imagine my work for the webinar, upcoming webinar at 12:30 is almost done because here I am, I've created a post and I'm just going to post it right in front of you on any social media. I could be adjusting this here, that get your own coffee and let's meet. So all I have to do is one, of course, I have the option of downloading it. It's getting saved automatically. So when I click on projects, this will show as one of my images. and I could be sharing it right from here. It's going to save my post and I can share it in any of the social media, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even mail it to somebody. So what I'm trying to say here is that within these minutes, I have just created a post where I'm not working from the scratch. I like something. I like the layout of four boxes. I can play around with those four boxes. I could be doing changing words, layouts, fonts, pictures, picking up images from my own, my own existing platform. So here you go. I'm just going to post this on Facebook and I am done, right? So here's your link. You could be pasting this and publishing this on your site. I hope I've been able to give you a tiny glimpse of what all is possible, because it's important that I'm able to do that. So what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to pause to see how we are doing, and where is it that what is it that I can help you see tell more before I move forward. So I'm happy to take any questions if we have. You can add special effects to slides. Yes. Yes. When you're making a video, you could do that. Certainly, you can do that. Good question, Manju. Um, to the object special effects, um, I don't get the question correct, but if I'm trying to get it, you mean swirl it and twirl it and, maybe make it upside down and give it certain 3D effects, then yes, you can. All of these actually capabilities are available in Spark Video. What I'm going to do is in my session at 12:30, I'm going to try and give you those demos so that I'm able to bring to you the capabilities that are available, right? Thank you for those questions. Love them. So, uh, please keep posting your questions here. I'm happy to take them as and when you post it. But here are some classroom examples of where you could use it. Let's say you want to capture a big idea. So you know what I would typically do is I'll challenge my students into this kind of a sentence that I need to tell a story about dash so that I can dash. So a noun and an action. So the noun could be just about anything. Let's say I need to tell a story about Earth, and so that I can make people do something about what's wrong. So my students, let's say, have read a story, and I really want them to create a kind of a big idea after that. This is something that I could do, and I would just give them three ideas for what all can they do. So if you give them such leading questions, I think they're good to create products that we really cannot imagine. And believe you me, we've seen these projects coming in. Here's another way of giving it to our students. So let's say, plan your layout first. That's very important because when students start creating, they create and then they think, no, I don't think I've done this right. I think I need to add something else. So they create multiple graphs, or they create multiple ways of working without really realizing that they hadn't planned properly. So we as teachers like to give them a kind of layout or a format. This is just suggestive. They need not stick to it, but it'll be great if they can use layouts like this. So when you're making a video, you have kind of slides available to you. So, you can plan every slide as to what you want. In the first slide, you would want an introductory slide. Second slide, you would want to introduce yourself. Third slide, you might want a kind of a clipping of a video, maybe from YouTube or anywhere from the web. So the good thing is that you can choose the 30-second or 20-second or 5-second or 8-second video from an existing video and bring it here and make it your own and give it your own voiceover. So all of that planning, especially for students, is like extremely important. So you could do that. So you can pick your own project and just get started. You could be creating a stunning graphic or beautiful web story or maybe an eye-catching video and then sharing it instantly, not only with your friends, your peers, but also with the world using social media. Um, Sorry. Storytelling, is a very, very strong tool, and you could be telling your story in a very powerful manner. You could move people, you could increase empathy, you could encourage cooperation and help people remember what they need to do, or what we are doing, or what the need of the hour is. And to do all of that, I think for a storytelling, Spark is a very, very powerful and a very impactful kind of a tool. Yes, like I said, you could be crafting your own story. So here are some more ideas. You could make it personal. A personal story actually resonates very well with people. So, and everybody who's actually, if something has worked for you, you really would want to tell the world about it. So if that's what you're looking for, then certainly, I mean, make a spark, make it personal, make your own story. In the On the other side at 12:30, I'll be sharing various examples of how I or my students have been able to create those stories and create an impact. And the kind of work that we have seen that coming from those students, it's quite amazing. um, get emotional. Well, not right now, but then a lot of people will tell you otherwise. But don't listen to that. Sometimes you just have to be vulnerable. Sometimes you just have to say, I think I feel very strongly about this, and I really want others also to know what I feel strongly about. And I want you as a partner in my whole relationship to see how I feel. Maybe our feelings resonate, and let's just work towards this cause. So, yeah, sometimes getting emotional is not that bad. Using anecdotes and reflections. Um, we teach every day. Every day we have about 40 minutes or 50 minutes in our classrooms, or 1 hour period to teach our students. But every 1 hour they learn something new. And it's very important that at some place we pause to take some anecdotes of what we have learned and reflect on our learning. So Spark also serves as a very good tool for reflection. Well, Preeti, I'm going to take your question here. Is it for higher classes too? Certainly. It certainly is for higher classes. In fact, even students in our universities are using it. It's a great way to create your own learning portfolio. It's a great way to showcase what you feel, and especially, higher education and, grades, let's say grades 8 to 12, really like to tell their story or voice their thoughts using graphics, using short videos, which they could make quickly. The whole problem is that most of the tools need a lot of formatting. They need a lot of time for you to plan and give your inputs. So all of that can be done very quickly using Spark. Like I said, if you go to spark.adobe.com and create an Adobe ID to use that, try that, and 12:30 come back to me to share with me what you've created. I would love to give this platform to you to showcase what you could create. And if you leave your email ID here, I'm happy to give you a free license or an access so that you could be creating those stories. And I know all of you are great educators and leaders in your own capacity. If you're here today, I know you're here to create a tomorrow. So, yeah, certainly. We're happy to do that. Okay, can we have any particular link and or lesson planner? Certainly, please come back at 12:30. I am sharing multiple lesson plans. I am sharing multiple products of what could be created, and if you quickly want one in the, I think, upcoming slides, you will get a link. So, thank you for asking that question. Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Preeti. I'll create that access for you as soon as we are done with this webinar. I'm loving the questions that are coming in, so meaningful. So please keep them coming. Thank you. Um, Talking about making a visual, I've already displayed one for you. Call for action is another one. I just created a kind of a webinar announcement in front of you. We could be doing any call of action, or just stay inspired, to keep people inspired. Every day you need a new inspiration. How many of you get those good morning messages and you get irritated? But the day you don't get it, you miss it too somewhere in you. Sometimes you just say, oh, thank God it didn't come today. But then sometimes it's just like some part of you is missing it. That's because whatever said and done, it is inspiring to hear from somebody in the morning to say good morning. It certainly just makes your day. So yeah, why not? Here are some more ways in which you could be using infographics in your classrooms. Modeling critical thinking and visual literacy skills. Us as teachers look for various ways in which we can create an anchor chart or inspiration board for our students while they are reading or studying. So this is another great way of displaying your work, which could be created within seconds or minutes. I could actually just count minutes for creating that. Creating timeline to document processes or explain historical events. So in history, this has been used beautifully. As you come back, I'll showcase to you an example where students were studying about the World War One and how they created a timeline. And if I talk about it in the Indian context, look at those ICSE and CBSE books that are full of history, and students of grade 10 have to sit for that. And we as teachers have to chase them literally to say, you know what, this what happened this time or that time. Think about it. If you could make a spark and put a timeline in front of the students, and with each timeline, as they click on the timeline, they could get into that timeline to read the details. Well, the history class just becomes so much more livelier. It's the same case with any subject, I would say, where you are studying anything to do with anything to do with chronology, anything to do with events. You could actually be creating a whole timeline or a kind of a chronological web page for them. It's beautiful when you create it. Autobiographies and biography. Well, in my last session, which I did at DPS Ghaziabad, where we had ICT teachers of all their branches attending this session, we did an impromptu autobiography kind of a session. And we said that let's create a web post about Mahatma Gandhi, and it should depict what kind of a person he was, and his attributes and attitudes through a page. I wish I could share that with you right away. But yeah, when you come back, I'm going to share all of that with you. It's beautiful to see how biographies or autobiographies can be, showcased using this. Activating prior knowledge at the beginning of a lesson certainly can come in handy. Analyzing information to develop critical thinking and visual literary skills. Analytical skills is something that we do not get time in our daily classrooms to accommodate. So possibly if you could flip your classroom, make it and make a spark and send it over a weekend, let students view it and come to your class. I think it'll just have a more meaningful engagement than just talking about it. Like I'd already mentioned, student portfolios is something that could be created using Spark. I've already created one. Setting up a framework for future learning. What is it that I'm going to do through this year? We always try and showcase to students so you can excite students with great visuals rather than only telling them or showing them textbook. You could just give them glimpses of what students have done last year so that there's enthusiasm for learning this year and we can just start afresh and set some standards there saying, you know what, last year we did this. I'm expecting something more this year. Illustrating related concepts in a curriculum topic. And you know what I'm talking about. So I don't think we need an explanation there. So, classroom newsletters. Every month we are sending out newsletters. We are sending about the scheme of work. We are sending out what happened and what's going to happen. So, if you would like to share all of that, this is a beautiful way. So, what we would do is in the beginning of the year, we would create a master spark. And every month we would just embed another button which would take you to this month's spark. So you could actually have all your month's newsletters aligned in just one spark. It's a beautiful way of doing it. Then sharing data for framework with parents or colleagues. Why not? Parents always ask for, what's going on at school. I'd like to see what's happening. So this is something that you could do. Presenting research findings and, of course, photo essays. Photo essay is something that is absolutely exciting. It excites me a lot. And I can actually share with you a picture very quickly. Okay, let me not get too excited about it. Let me just roll through the slides and then maybe later I could show you a photo essay that really called me, that really hit me to say, wow, I would love to do this. So I'm going to pause here for you to make a connection. Begin the year with a Spark introduction. Maybe capture festivities using Creative Cloud. ATL project prototype or projects. Liquify feature for identification. So at the beginning of the year, take pictures. You get pictures of all your students. You could liquify those pictures and put it up. And that could be something very exciting. So picture provocations for your introducing your concepts, capturing current incidents or updates, school magazines, brochures, project and products, news feeds every morning, and event videos. Of course, capturing learning journeys. I couldn't have moved next, leaving this aside. So we can definitely pretty use it for all the subjects in such amazing ways. just the way we all need to stay connected beyond today, we certainly need to learn from somewhere because these webinars are here to introduce what's available. So Adobe has Adobe Educator Exchange to offer to you, which you could onboard immediately and learn and meet like-minded people over there. So this is a platform which is for educators, by educators, and it's for you to join right away. The URL for joining is edx, sorry, .adobe.com, and you could be joining using your Adobe ID, which could be which could preferably, actually, if you would like an institutional ID, use your institutional ID so that you're able to track what people are doing. And it's a great platform for learning. We've been learning with this platform, and we've been learning from here for more than I think about 5 to 6 months now. But I think it just helps you grow. And of course, there's much more that you can do. So please sign in using your either any Microsoft account or your Office 365 ID, and you'll be in here. You first of all complete your profile. Once again, as you complete your profile, we just like Microsoft Educator Community, even the Adobe Educator Exchange has the point system, has the you have these cute little badges that you get, and of course, you do get the certificates too. So please complete your profile as you land here. This is what the page looks like. You can search on this website for what you're looking for. Let me give you a glimpse of the website. Here, what you see is I'm signed in here, and I've done some 5 workshops. I have one resource that I have contributed. That is my lesson plan can be found here, and I have about 700 and something points. So yeah, so certainly this is absolutely great. Um, Yes, Mr. Dillon, definitely. I'm going to share the recording with you post this. We will be sending out the recording of the session. So I completely understand that staff members need to learn. And at 12:30, we are doing it for staff members who could be joining in, sitting in one room. We'll try and pack it up in about half an hour, 40 minutes, so that we don't take more than one period of your teachers. So, coming back to the Educator Exchange, here's something that you can do. You could look for courses and workshops. You could search for a particular product or a particular tool workshop that you're looking for, or you could simply be browsing here to see what all is available. And like Satya Nadella says that he reads or he joins more platforms than he can actually complete. I've made it. I've taken inspiration from him, and I sign up for more sessions than I can actually complete or be a part of. But I think it's just a great reminder that you keep getting from them that your assignment is due, your work is stuck here. Why don't you do another half an hour today? So it's great if someone can actually push you, even if it's through an email or just a pop up to say, you know what, do some Adobe session today. So it's great. So your sessions could be as like I did this one too. You could learn and deploy straight away into your classroom. So go to creative images for educators. So you could be actually doing this course. Again, the duration of the courses depend on the kind of course that you have joined. It could be half an hour, it could be 1 hour, it could be multiple days. And there are certain courses which open up for only a few days. So you have to keep yourself abreast. You have to keep visiting to see when what's available. Interactive digital storytelling with Flipgrid is something that is running very, very hot with teachers. So yes, you could actually, so imagine choose your own Flip venture. You could use Spark along with Flipgrid to do that. Give you more ideas maybe in the other session, but in a nutshell, the courses that are available are learn how to do about the tools, meet other tutors, or connect with community, or apply your learning or get hands-on. You could be doing any of those, and there are various levels at which you could be doing. So nothing stops you from taking your next step. And Adobe completely believes that together we create change. At Adobe, we do believe that creativity is the catalyst for positive change. We are driven to inspire creativity in people who want to make a meaningful impact on education, on environment, our community, and the world at large. So, thank you for coming here and joining us. for this webinar. I'm absolutely thankful for you for sparing this time for us. And I would also want to introduce Garima Babar. She is the program head, education skill development at Adobe Systems, and the one who is conceptualizing and driving these programs at Adobe. You may feel free to connect with any of us. And beyond today, your next steps are, first of all, certainly join Adobe Digital Disha. You simply have to write to us and we'll be happy to give you access. We are happy to provide you licenses free of cost for all your students and teachers. This is a complete pack of Spark that you get access to. There are no charges, there is no expiry date for that. And Adobe's effort is to actually create that culture of creativity in your classrooms. Number two, please onboard the Adobe Educator Exchange. It's edx.adobe.com. And of course, join our webinars. So that's the link for our webinar. And you want Garima's Skype ID. I can give you Garima's email ID for that matter. So I'm just going to post that here in a minute. If you could please give me that minute, and please keep your questions coming. Do take note of the URLs that I have just given you. Please, if you want, I can type them in the chat window. And Garima is very, very accessible. So please don't feel shy in writing to her about your interest. And on the next slide, I'm going to share with you the requirements. There you go. That's Garima's email ID. And these are your requirements. So if you're writing to us for Adobe Digital Disha, you could be writing to us straight away, keeping Garima in copy, or you could be writing to Garima, keeping us in copy. And all we need is, you need to share your address of the institute, PIN code, name of the ID admin who's going to manage your Spark licenses, email ID of the ID admin, and mobile number so that we can get you on board. And we've already begun the process of onboarding schools. We have enabled many schools across India on this. Adobe Spark license free only for web. No, it's free for whether you want to work on your phone or your wherever you want on your app or whatever. Yes, it is. It is free of cost. You can download it and use your Spark license anywhere that you want. So I hope, Vijay, I'm able to answer your question. And also, along with these licenses, you will be given full hand holding on deployment. Akshay from our team will be, helping you out for the deployment. It's a super simple deployment. There's no deployment. We just give you the admin console, and you can float with it. You can do whatever you want. It's going to be your console. Your products are going to stay with you. So this is an absolutely secure platform. We will have no access to your products. So we will, if we need to see what the usage is at your end, or what products have been created by your students and teachers, we will need to ask you to share. And that is absolutely up to you and your willingness if you would like to share those with us. So we are not going to look into your data. So your data is absolutely secure. That is why I'm requesting everyone to kindly use Office 365 IDs or Microsoft accounts to make your Adobe account so that you can trace track. And if you're a Microsoft user, if you're an Office 365 user, then from within Teams, Microsoft Teams, which is one of our leading products, you can actually access and use Adobe tools. So that's the kind of partnership that we have at Adobe and Microsoft. You could be using each other's products with seamlessly without any hesitation. So there are no barriers there. Within Teams, you can enable you could be creating assignment based on Adobe Spark, and your students could be doing. So everything that you're doing will stay in one place, and that is using your Office 365 IDs. Thank you so very much for joining us today. I'm absolutely delighted that we've been able to spend good, valuable time together, and I hope I've been able to give you a glimpse of what I was trying to share. I'm more than happy to take any questions if you have, and drive you further, or take you on this journey further. I would again request you to please try and join us in our webinar at about 12:30. I'm happy to give you the link right here in the chat window so that you can simply just access this link to join us. It'll be there. We will be having this webinar at 12:30. So here's your link for the next webinar at 12:30, where we will deep dive into Spark. And I'm, like I said, I'm happy to take any questions if you have. Otherwise, thank you so very much for joining. I'm absolutely delighted and absolutely honored to have you here on this webinar. And very soon, I will be sharing this whole recording of this session with you. As we go. So what I've done is I have also added the brochure to the Adobe Digital Disha in our chat window. You can download that from there. And I've also given you a photo essay picture. Let me see if I can actually showcase that here. Mm, Okay, maybe it's loading. So I'm just trying something for you. So what we did here was, okay, I will have to open it. Let me see if I can. Okay. So if you can see my screen, what I'm showcasing to you is a photo essay created. So this was like a histogram that we created, a post for Twitter and Instagram, and where the students were asked to pick up an incident or a story from the history and write in very few words. Twitter has word limitations. So write in very few words about that very incident and convey what it would look like if you were in that age, which means in 1986. If you were actually displaying or if you were announcing this on Instagram, what would it look like? So it was a great exercise for us and for everybody. So it was a fantastic way of connecting with our students, and we absolutely loved doing what we did. I hope that gave you a sense of what photo essays I was talking about. So once again, thank you so very much for joining us. Please don't hesitate in writing to us for joining Adobe Digital Disha. Once again, I've been announcing this and I've been saying this for long, but Adobe Digital Disha uh, provides you access to Adobe Spark complete package free of cost for all your students and teachers. We'll give you an admin console through which you could create all the IDs. You could be starting with specific grades or going school-wide all the way you would like it. So I'm happy to take questions. If not, then thank you so very much for joining in. This has been great. I love the questions that were coming in. I'm going to stop recording, but I'm still here to take your questions. Thank you so very much. Have a great day ahead.